Welcome to Module 2, Part B. In this module, the participants will be looking at practicing benchmark assessments, reporting levels, and viewing practice videos and summaries from Fountas and Pinnell. Please note that whenever the participant sees a blue DVD icon, there is a video embedded within or following the slide. Within this module, the participant will learn more about coding and scoring, practice the benchmark assessments, reporting levels, and forming instructional reading groups based on the assessment results. Please read the quote. After reading it, take a few minutes to reflect on your students, both past and present, as readers. What do you know now that will enhance your skills when using the system to level your students in reading? What areas do you as the teacher still need to polish in order to get the best out of your student readers? Finally, what tools or knowledge do you have to make better informed decisions about your students as readers and your ability to connect assessment with practice? Please pause the video now and take a few minutes to collect your thoughts and discuss. Coding and scoring information within the Fountas and Pinnell benchmarking system may be found in the assessment guides and in the professional development DVDs that are available within the kit. Note the blue DVD icon. It signals embedded videos to use during this presentation. All videos are also available on the professional development DVDs located within your system kits, and they're posted on the portal in the Literacy Benchmarking folder. After watching the following video, take time to dialogue about the information you heard and collaborate with colleagues about how this information will help drive your understanding of how to code and score student work within the Fountas and Pinnell benchmarking system.
Scoring, analyzing, and interpreting. For levels J and above, you may want to measure reading rate. If you are using the F&P calculator stopwatch, enter the number of running words before you start the reading. After your introduction, the child will start reading, and at that time, start the timer on the stopwatch. Or you can record these times on the form. When the child reaches the end of the oral reading, stop the timer. The calculator will give you the reader's rate in words per minute. While the child reads, code the errors on your recording form. You can learn how to code oral reading in the tutorials section of this DVD. When the child finishes the oral reading, you can also count and enter the number of errors. The calculator will give you the accuracy rate. Another way to get the accuracy rate is to use the graph at the bottom of the coding form. Remember that the number of errors a child can make before going below 90% accuracy, or 95% for levels L through N, is printed on the front cover of the book. That will help you keep track of the errors so that you will know when to stop testing because you have found the hard text level for the child. The reader's fluency is scored using a rubric that ranges from 0, representing low fluency, to 3, representing high fluency. The 6 dimensions of fluency rubric, available in the optional assessment section of the Forms book or CD, offers additional guidance in assessing reading fluency. The student's comprehension score represents a total of scores for demonstrating understanding within, beyond, and when appropriate, about the text. Use the rubric to make a holistic decision here. Don't try to count right answers. Just think about the evidence overall. Numeric scores will help you rate the student's reading comprehension as unsatisfactory, limited, satisfactory, or excellent. Count the self-corrections, which are not considered errors. Calculate the self-correction ratio and write it on the form. That lets you know the degree to which readers are monitoring or checking on their own reading and trying to reconcile the text as meaningful and coherent. After you have identified the students' accuracy levels for several books, as well as comprehension scores for the same books, you will need to determine the benchmark independent and benchmark instructional levels for that reader. Record all scores for all of the books the student read on the assessment summary form, from easiest to hardest level. Both the accuracy level and the comprehension scores are important in helping you find the benchmark independent level for that student. This means that the student can read these texts without teacher support. For levels A through K, the benchmark independent or easy level is the highest level the student can read with 95 to 100% accuracy and a comprehension rating of satisfactory or excellent. Be sure that the student can read the words and understand the story or informational text. Students may have read more than one book at the same accuracy rate and comprehension levels, so be sure to identify the highest book level that meets these criteria as the benchmark independent level. If a student is reading at levels L through N, there are higher criteria for accuracy. For the independent level, the reading should be at 98 to 100% accuracy and a comprehension rating of satisfactory or excellent. Now find the benchmark instructional level. At this level, the student can read for meaning with teacher support. For levels A through K, the instructional level is the highest level the student can read with 90 to 94% accuracy and a comprehension rating of satisfactory or excellent. If the child is reading at levels L through N, there are higher criteria for accuracy. The benchmark instructional level is the highest level the student can read with 95 to 97% accuracy and a comprehension rating of satisfactory or excellent. Sometimes a student will read with very high accuracy and low comprehension. In this case, you can designate the instructional level as 95% to 100% accuracy with limited comprehension. At levels L to N, that would mean 98 to 100% accuracy and limited comprehension. Here you know that the reader is very good at decoding words, but needs to work on reading for meaning. Again, students may have read more than one book at the same accuracy rate and comprehension level, so be sure to identify the highest book level that meets these criteria as the benchmark instructional level.
Finally, you can determine the recommended placement level. The placement level reflects your best thinking about where you will begin instruction for the reader. Most of the time, the placement level will be the same as the instructional level, but as you consider factors like fluency and think about the student's actual comprehension scores, you may occasionally make a different decision. Now you have completed the summary form. You know some very important information about the student's reading skills. 1. The benchmark independent level can help you guide student choices for independent reading. But remember that we want students to learn how to choose books for themselves. They do not choose books by level. Instead, they learn to think about what is interesting to them and read a little bit to know if the book is readable. For some students, you may want to present several books at a range of levels you know will be appropriate. 2. The benchmark instructional and recommended placement levels will help you form initial groups and work with students in small group instruction. You still need more information to inform your teaching. Using the instructional level, analyze the student's reading behaviors. You will want to analyze the particular types of errors and self-corrections that students make while reading, as well as their strategic actions. You can learn how to code and analyze reading behaviors in the tutorials section of this DVD.
Scoring and coding errors at a glance is located on the inside back cover of the assessment guide. This reference chart includes the coding symbols and their meanings, as well as what counts as an error or not. Codes and scoring are the same for Systems 1 and 2. The following notes are reminders of some of the nuances of the benchmarking system that the participant will want to remember and practice to increase the fidelity and reduce the subjectivity within the system. Subcorrections are not errors. Proper nouns, such as specific people, places, or things, are only counted the first time the error is made. Discontinue the assessment if a student starts inventing text and write "inventing" at the top. This should be considered hard. Skipping a full page of print doesn't count as errors. Intervene and have the child start again. Skipping one line of text counts as one error per word skipped. If a student loses their place, ask them to begin again at a natural starting point. Do not count this as an error. ELL students should speak English well enough to understand your directions in order to be given this assessment. Be sure to look at the number of errors area at the bottom left-hand corner of the book or at the top of the assessment form. If the student reaches this number, you are able to discontinue this assessment and move to an easier level. Sample benchmark assessment conferences can be found on the professional development DVDs in both of the System 1 and System 2 kits. The DVDs deliver the same message, but the information in the following slides are specific to the reading levels A through N, which are found in System 1. Here is a preview of what you will find within the Practice Benchmarking Assessment Professional Development DVD. Following this slide, you will have the opportunity to view and practice the Sleepover Party, Level H. Participants should code the reading record for the oral reading section of the benchmark assessment on their own copy, as the student in the video reads aloud. Participants will then compare their scoring to the Fountas and Pinnell sample assessment conference form when the video ends.
So I've picked this book for you today, Eve. It's called The Sleepover Party. And Jim was invited to a sleepover party. He was worried about staying at his friend's house, and he wanted to take his favorite toy, Muggsy, with him. Read to find out what happened. Okay? And then we'll have a little talk about it afterwards. Okay, go.
The Sleepover Party. Jim was invited because he was going to a sleepover party, but he was also a little worried. He had never stayed all night at a friend's house. All of Jim's friends were invited to the party too. Jim said, see you at Matt's house, but he was still worried. Mom helped Jim's pack for the party. Here are your pajamas and your toothbrush, said Mom. Jim wasn't ready. Wasn't really listening because he was worrying. What if I miss Mom? He thought. What if I can't fall asleep? Mom held up Jim's favorite toy. Do you want to take Muggsy with you? Mom asked. Jim always slept with Muggsy. Jim didn't want to bring Muggsy, but he was worried Muggsy is a baby toy. Jim told his mom, I don't want my friends to laugh at me. I can't bring Muggsy. That's fine, said Mom. Get your sleeping bag. I'll zip up your backpack. Have fun. Have fun, Mom said. I will. Jim answered, but he was still a little worried. All of Jim's friends were at Matt's house. They played games and they ate yummy snacks. Jim was having fun. Then it was time for bed. All the boys went up to Matt's room. Dan opened his backpack and pulled out a toy. Here is Teddy, said Dan. I always sleep with him. Louis opened his backpack. I have Snapper, he said. Josh had a toy too. I always take Spot with me, he said. I wish I had Muggsy, Jim thought. Matt said, Jim, are you going to get ready for bed? Sure, said Jim. He opened his backpack to look for his pajamas. What? This, said Jim. It was Muggsy. Muggsy came to the sleepover sleepover party after all.
Now, please compare your reading record scoring with the completed Fountas and Pinnell sample assessment conference forms on slide 12, 13, and 14. What questions do you have? Did you notice any inconsistencies? Refer to the coding and scoring at a glance for more information. Please pause this module anytime during the next slides and take time to discuss the differences or questions you may have. The next video will allow you to view and practice the Sleepover Party Level H comprehension conversation. Participants should record their notes and evidences on the comprehension conversation section of the benchmark assessment on their own copy as the student in the video discusses the text.
So what happened in this story?
Jim was worried
Why?
because he might miss Mom.
Oh. And what did happen when he went to the sleepover party?
He found Muggsy. He didn't want Muggsy before, but everyone else bring their own toys.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jim's mom, when he was getting his pack, she put the toy in for Jim.
How do you know that? How do you know Mom put it in for him? Does that picture tell you?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what she's doing when he's not looking?
Yeah.
Oh. So how did he feel when he first went to the sleepover party?
He felt worried
What was he worried about?
because he might miss Mom, or he might not sleep.
Did you ever go to a sleepover party?
No.
At someone else's house? Not yet. Someday you might. So how did he feel at the end of the story?
Happy
Why?
because he found Muggsy.
And how was that going to make him happy?
Because everybody else brought their own toys.
Okay. Thanks for reading that story to me.
Now compare your notes and scoring to the Fountas of Pinnell, a sample assessment conference form. What questions do you have? Do you notice any inconsistencies? Please pause the module anytime during the next slide and take time to discuss those inconsistencies or any interesting findings in order to help reduce the subjectivity on this part of the analysis. Use the assessment guide to help clarify questions about the comprehension conversation. In Module 4, we will discuss comprehension in greater depth. Now you need to decide what level the student has reached and the next steps for recording, benchmarking, and instruction. Please view the next slide to help guide the conversation about where to go next using the benchmark instructional levels chart. According to benchmarking guidelines, the next steps for this child are to move up the text level gradient and begin the benchmark reading assessment. It may be necessary to skip ahead 2 or 3 levels. For example, move from a level H fiction text to a level J nonfiction text. Be sure to alternate between fiction and nonfiction. The following video will allow you the opportunity to view and practice All About Koalas, Level I, Nonfiction. Please code the reading record for the oral reading section of the benchmark assessment on your own copy as the student in the video reads aloud. Participants will compare their scoring to the Fountas and Pinnell Sample Assessment Conference form when the video ends.
This is a story called All About Koalas. It's a book. Koalas are animals that live in a country called Australia. You're going to read this book to learn all about how koalas live, what they eat, and about their babies.
All About Koalas. This is a koala. It comes from Australia. Koalas live in tall trees called gum trees. Koalas have sharp claws. The claws help them climb the trees. Koalas have thick fur and white chest. They have fluffy ears and big nose. The koala's nose helps it find food. Koalas eat gum labors. Koalas sleep in the day. At night, they wake up to eat. Koalas do not drink water. There is water in the leaves. Koalas eat. They get food and water at the same time. This is a baby koala, a young koala is called a joey, just like a baby kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
Oh, kangaroo. When the joey is born, it has no hair. A koala joey is very small. The little koala stays in its mother's special pouch. In the pouch, the baby koala drinks its mother's milk. This joey is 7 months old. It is as long as a loaf of bread. The joey travels on its mother's back. It uses its thumbs to hold on. Koalas talk to each other, mother and babies make soft sounds. Koalas make deep sounds when they are far away. Koalas have a problem day. Some people are cutting down trees to make room for houses. May people want to save the trees. Koalas need safe places to call home.
Compare your reading record scoring with the completed Fountas and Pinnell sample assessment conference forms on the following slides. What questions do you have? Do you notice any inconsistencies? Refer to the coding and scoring at a glance for more information. Please pause this module anytime during the following slides and take the time to discuss the differences or The following video gives you an opportunity to view and practice All About Koalas Level I Nonfiction. Record your notes and evidence on the comprehension conversation of the benchmark assessment on your own copy as the student in the video discusses the text.
Talk about what you learned in this book.
They eat leaves. And the leaves have water, so they eat and drink water at the same time. And they told us that baby koalas are called joeys.
Did you know that before?
No.
Me neither. Keep going. Tell me more about what you learned in this book.
Sometimes they have problems.
Tell me.
Because people cut trees to make houses.
And? Why is that a problem?
Because koalas need trees to climb on.
Oh, that would be a problem. Let's see.
Then they'll get eaten by other animals.
Ah, they could, couldn't they? And why else do they need those trees?
So they can eat the leaves to get the water.
I think you're right.
The water and
So, do koalas remind you of any other animals that you know about? Because you know lots about
monkeys.
Nature. Why? Why do they remind you of monkeys?
Because they remind me of monkeys because they look kind of like monkeys.
Do they look like monkeys to you? Yeah? What else do they do that are like monkeys?
Monkeys need trees.
They sure do, don't they? Lots of animals need trees. We have to take care of our trees, don't we? Look at page 15 for me. What's the author trying to tell us on this page? Why did he write this page?
Because people cut down trees.
So?
They can make room for houses.
Yes, and so what does the author want us to think about here?
They have problems.
Yeah, it's causing problems with the animals, isn't it? We need to be careful of that. Okay, let's see. Did you find out when you were reading why the joey stays in the mother's pouch?
Yeah.
Why?
So it lives.
Yeah, why does it live there when it's very little? Do you know?
So it doesn't get eaten by any animals.
Okay.
If it's by itself.
I see. And was there another reason that he stays in the pouch?
So they can be warm.
Okay. Did you learn anything else about koalas that you want to tell me about today?
No.
No. It was a good book, though, wasn't it? I'm glad you read it to me. Thank you.
I wish I had a book at home like this.
You do? Well, I'll be looking for one for you. How's that?
In the following slide, you have an opportunity to compare your notes and scoring to the Fountas and Pinnell Sample Assessment Conference Form. What questions do you have? Do you notice any inconsistencies? Please pause the module anytime during the next slide and take the time to discuss those inconsistencies or interesting findings in order to help reduce the subjectivity on this part of the analysis. Use the assessment guide to help clarify questions about the comprehension conversation. Module 4 will discuss comprehension in greater depth. Now you must decide what level the student has reached and the next steps for recording, benchmarking, and instruction. Please view the following slide to help guide the conversation about where to go next using the Benchmark Instructional Levels chart. According to benchmarking guidelines, the next steps for this child are: it is possible for a student to be considered instructional at more than one level. This is not necessarily the highest instructional level this child is capable of reading. Move up the text level gradient and begin the benchmark reading assessment. Be sure to alternate between fiction and nonfiction. Continue to test up until the hard level is reached. Once the hard level is reached, record the highest instructional level on the Fargo Public Schools reporting form or enter the score into the Data Summit. The next video allows you to view and practice Our New Neighbors, Level J, Fiction. Code the reading record for the oral reading section of the benchmark assessment on your own copy as the student in the video reads aloud. Compare your scoring to the Fountas and Pinnell Sample Assessment Conference form when the video ends.
So, this story I picked for you today is called Our New Neighbors. Ben's family and the other families on the street got a note from their new neighbors. In the note, their new neighbors invited them to see their surprise horses. You're going to read to find out what kind of horses they are. Our new neighbors.
Our new neighbors. On Saturday morning, Ben saw an
envelope
on the front steps. Mom, Dad pulled the curtain. Look, that is found. Can I read this?
Sure.
To the Lee. To the Lee family. Dad read the note that was
Bless you.
inside. Hello, neighbors. We just moved into the big house on the corner. Please come to party next Saturday at 10 o'clock. We want to meet you and we want you to meet our horses, Max and Flo. horses. Everyone looked at the another horse on our street, asked Dad. I hope they're ponies, said Ben. When we have birthday parties, we can have ponies riding. I hope they're big white horses, said Polly. Maybe they'll give us a ride. Well, said Mom, that horse on the corner is just right for horses. It has a big yard, and there's that red barn in back. Look, said Ben, the neighbors are writing a note to Mom and Dad, called across the street. Did you get the note about the horses? Dad asked. What do you think it's about? Mom asked. The neighbor, I don't know. They said, I don't think that barn is big. Enough of horses. Another neighbor popped her head over the fence. I can tell you something easily, she said. Every day when I pass that horse, I heard loud noises and something is hammering. All the neighbors were excited about the
Compare your reading record scoring with the completed Fountas and Pinnell sample assessment conference form on the following slides. What questions do you have? Do you notice any inconsistencies? Refer to the coding and scoring at a glance for more information. Please pause this module anytime during the next slides and take the time to discuss the differences or questions you may have. The following video is the link to the teacher reflection portion of Our New Neighbors Level J Fiction.
You know, from doing this assessment with Eve, I was able to notice that he's a really good problem solver, a word solver. He's got some strong word attack skills. At the independent level, I could notice some phrasing, and he even once or twice reread in order to change the phrasing to make his reading make more sense. He can talk about books, so he's clearly understanding what he's reading. I would like him to be more fluent. So I will have to look for opportunities throughout the day, not just during guided reading group, to teach him how to be more phrased, expressive, use more intonation in his reading, particularly of nonfiction, fictional text. And he'll probably need to do that on lots and lots of easy books. And you know, I've been thinking another emphasis might be that I need to help him to monitor for meaning more regularly. And in a way that I might be able to do that most effectively is to reinforce, praise and reinforce when he does it, and then
Pause the the video here and take time to discuss why this teacher chose not to complete the comprehension conversation portion of the benchmark reading assessment. Is this level considered an easy or independent level, instructional, or hard level? What are the next steps? Pause once again and discuss your thoughts. This particular reading level is considered a hard level for this student, according to the Benchmark Instructional Levels chart. According to the benchmarking guidelines, the next steps are to move down the text level gradient and begin the benchmark reading assessment. Be sure to alternate between fiction and nonfiction. Continue assessing down the text level gradient until the highest instructional level is reached. Record the highest instructional level on the Fargo Public Schools reporting form or enter the score into the Data Summit. The following reporting levels section will explain how to report the highest instructional level each student is able to read during each assessment window. The module narration will describe what to record on each column. When reporting the student's highest instructional reading level, it is important to include the following information: student ID, student's last name and first name, the highest instructional level determined by the participant's benchmarking of the student's reading ability, record the letter please, the student's accuracy rate, the instrument used, Fountas and Pinnell, as well as the comprehension rubric score. The last column is for notes. The information contained here varies from building to building, but it's a place to record observations or other comments about each child. If the participant is going to use the notes field of this document, it is recommended that the page size is changed to legal before printing off this recording sheet. Reading levels are recorded in the Data Summit and are used for a variety of reasons, such as determining 1 year's growth, grade level proficiency, and instructional decision making. Please review the reminders on this slide regarding recording levels and the connection between assessments and the day-to-day reading instruction. This slide shows the comparison gradients of Fountas and Pinnell and our district's 1 year of growth gradient. The grade level expectations are indicated on the chart to the right. It is helpful in determining if 1 year of growth was made for the particular student. This is a piece of information the participant may want to keep in a convenient location with easy access during PLCs and conversations about the student's reading progress and goals. This quote from Irene Fountas and Sue Pinnell sums up the essence of why benchmarking students is so important as we get to know our students as readers. The sole purpose of benchmarking student reading is so that we as educators are better able to follow the child and pinpoint exact areas of reading that need to be developed, polished, or extended in order to help our students reach their full potential as readers.